Hi, Happy New Year from here at YWAM Orlando. I'm Michael Berg and just really excited to begin this not only a new year but a new decade. It's really an extraordinary year for us because 25 years ago in June, Darla and I arrived with vision in hand, and we're celebrating 25 years. We'll give you some more information in the future about how we're going to celebrate that, and we'd love to have you join us for that. But stay tuned for some future updates on that. And this year is a celebration not only because we're 25 years old, but because of what God is doing. Our fall discipleship training school and school of ministry development are out in 8 locations sharing the gospel. These fiery-eyed missionaries are carrying the light of the gospel, the life-giving message of Jesus all over the planet. They're in places like Africa, the Middle East, Asia, and around the U.S. and the Caribbean as well. Just carrying that gospel message and doing a variety of different ministries, and we're just delighted with what God's doing there. Certainly ask for your prayers for these 8 teams. You know, we're out in this world. This world is a crazy place these days and absolutely needs Jesus. And it's a delight to share the gospel, but we're very aware of the reality of our world. And so we take it very seriously and invite you to pray with us. And we always try to take all the precautions we can, but we are passionate about carrying that message. So we're delighted to be a part of that. But along with these teams, these 8 teams out into the nations, we also have started our winter quarter. We have our discipleship training school and a sports ministry school, and they're doing extraordinary work already, learning how to share the gospel, learning how to use sports and fitness to actually connect with people as a platform for sharing the gospel. And then within our discipleship training school, people get to connect with their areas of passion, whether that be justice, which we also refer to as mercy, or the compassion of Jesus, showing a tangible expression of the compassion of Jesus, or the maybe worship, or media or sports. We have a sports track as well within our discipleship training school. And it's just amazing how sports is kind of a global language. Worship is too. The world over, people are learning how to engage the Lord in the place of worship. So we're excited about that. This winter quarter school will be getting ready to go on outreach toward the end of March, and they'll be carrying the gospel into locations as well. So we just appreciate your prayers as we're working. This 2020, it's also a time where we've renovated all our existing structures and we're out of capacity. And so one of the things we're working on right now is master planning and trying to interface with government to make sure we get permissions to be able to scale up our campus and to grow it, to be able to handle the missionaries in training that God is sending to us. And I've just been amazed and humbled by the wonderful people God has sent to us, professionals, to help us in this process of developing a master plan and scaling up our capacity here at YWAM Orlando. Again, I invite you to join us in prayer. And then finally, I would mention January, particularly as we start the new year, it's a time of prayer and planning. Every year we have an annual prayer planning retreat for our eldership, our senior leadership at YWAM Orlando, where we ask God to review our last year. How did we do? You want to say anything to us about how we've lived our lives and worked toward your purposes in the last year? How are we doing currently in our walk with you, in our leadership here at this location? And what are your marching orders for us into the future? The overarching mission of fulfilling the Great Commission is clear to us, and that's really what we're a part of. But then there are the particulars. How does God want us to act, and what does He want us to accomplish over the next year or the next 3 years? And we're really working to set the course around those mandates from the Lord. So coming out of that time of prayer and planning, then we also then go into a core leadership team, which is our management team, our implementation team. And we also have a 2-day time of prayer and planning where we look at how do we implement this vision that God has given to us and the particulars over the next year. And so really that implementation team is the one that puts feet on the ground, or the tires on the road, if you will, that creates traction toward accomplishing the things that God has. One of the things I've found is many people claim to be visionaries, but not everybody really engages the vision and gets traction on the vision and actually accomplishes it. In fact, many who claim to be visionaries can merely be daydreamers. But our commitment is to say, Lord, we don't want to merely be daydreaming with you, but we want to hear from you what's on your heart and actually, by your grace, live it out in a way that brings you glory on the planet and sees the gospel carried to every person on the planet. So really appreciate whatever part you've played, whether you've prayed for us, whether you've partnered with a staff member or us here at the campus. I just want to say thank you for the part you've played in making this ministry of carrying the gospel to the ends of the earth a reality. Thanks and God bless.